Oh. All right. He's at his desk, and the show begins.
What? Are we live
now? Yeah, the show starts now.
I don't have enough time to make old man noises.
You make old man noises, but the people can't see it because all they see is our big placard of your two dads.
Good. Oh, sorry.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, well, it's mostly just you and me at the moment. But as you watch this in replay, because you're so fascinated by what you heard later in the show that you went back to the beginning, good morning. I am JJW. He is Deacon. And we are your two dads. And it's very, very good what you did there, sir.
I don't know what I did.
It's early. It's early for me. I know you've been up a couple hours.
God, I got up at 4. It was 3:58, and I went to use the bathroom, and I thought, oh my God, I can go back to sleep. So I went and laid back down on the couch, and I did not go back to sleep. I just kind of laid there and rolled around for like 30 minutes, and I was like, screw this, I'm getting up. I hate it. And then at night, when it gets like 8 o'clock at night, I'm like exhausted. So it was like 9 last night, and Ashley and I had just gotten into the bedroom, and the kids were in their rooms, and I was sitting down, and I got to rub lotion on my feet at night. It's one of the things I've had to do my entire life.
It puts lotion on its feet.
I put lotion on its feet. And it keeps me, I have restless leg syndrome, and I've noticed over the years that if I put lotion on my feet, if my feet are dry, I'm more likely to have restless leg, like severe restless leg episodes. But if my feet are moisturized, I don't. It's a weird thing that I found by accident, like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since. But yeah, we were sitting there, and it was like 9:15. It's a long way. I do this on stories. I chase rabbits. We were sitting there, and it was like 9:15, and I was like, I am exhausted. And she's like, really? Oh, she was still kind of peppy. So yeah, 7 o'clock at night, I'm ready to go to bed. Long way to go to say that I go to bed early.
Well, I watch your little Discord light sometimes. In the morning, I wait till it's an appropriate time to ping you if I'm saying something to. But in the evening, I notice quite often that your Discord light is not green or red; it's off.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll sit there at the computer and the living room, and I'll be doing some D&D stuff for the kids. I'm a DM and a D&D nerd, so I'll be doing some stuff like that. And I'll be on Discord because I've got a couple of Discord servers that they're my servers that I just kind of they're warehouse servers is what they are. They're warehouses, and I'll leave it up. And then I'll notice in the middle of the night, I won't have some pings. Sometimes I'll get pings in the middle of the night. But I'll notice when I get up, if I leave the Discord on, I've got like 8 freaking DMs from kids in the server asking me, can you give me this role?
I disabled DMs like 4 years ago, and I've been a staunch advocate of like, don't let anybody DM you for any reason at all. Smart. Okay, well, there's a bunch of news this morning. I'm a little slow starting. I woke up probably at like 5:15, and then I was like, oh, it's not time to get up yet, and I kind of rolled back over and went back to sleep, and then I was like, oh wait, hold on, I need to go to the restroom, so I get up and go to the restroom. I check my clock. Oh no, it's 6 o'clock. It's 6:05. I either didn't read the phone right, or I went back to sleep for 40 minutes and didn't realize it. But so. Up and early. Good morning. Good morning. I think that's Jeremy in the chat. So that's my brother Jeremy. I assume all Jeremys are my brother Jeremy.
Are your brother?
They must be. So there's like so many little stories, but there's nothing like super big other than obviously we didn't start World War III yesterday. So congratulations to all of us for successfully sending Pelosi to Taiwan and not having World War III.
I mean,
that's great.
Doesn't Pelosi work for China? I mean, doesn't she work for China?
I don't know.
I mean, why would China destroy an asset?
I don't know who she works for. She don't work for us.
I've played chess my entire life, and one of the things that you do is you posture. You have to posture. And you have to do a little intimidation, and sometimes you have to sacrifice fun. But yeah, you posture a lot, so that's all this crap was. I
So
was a
I
little
mean,
worried there for a minute, and me and you talked for a second about it, and I was like, "Oh,
uh,
that's a good point."
I
Yeah.
don't think anything's gonna happen. But China is like running their boats around Taiwan and doing these drills, and they're trying to rile people up. But you know, whatever. And I don't know. Should I give Pelosi credit for bravely venturing into Taiwan when China said no, and the Biden administration said, "Come on, man, don't go." Should I give her credit? I don't know.
No, no, she
Okay,
doesn't get credit for anything. She is a demon devil woman that is the only logical explanation that she is still in power, she
right.
is in league with a demon,
She
okay?
must
No,
be.
she doesn't get credit for anything other than helping destroy
You know,
this country and make this country worse. No,
do
no,
you
she
know?
doesn't
Do
get
you know
credit
how
for me
old
for anything.
Pelosi is? I
She's
found
like
out how old
500, she's
Pelosi is
older than
yesterday.
Methuselah.
She's very,
Jeez,
very
she's like
old.
one of the freaking yeah,
She
yeah.
is 82 years old. Do you know anybody in your world that's 82 years old that you'd be like, yeah, I think I'm going to give you probably the third most important job in the country.
Yeah, and
What
I'm
is
coming
going
from
on?
Kentucky, and Mitch McConnell is up there too. How old is he?
Man,
80. He's in his
I, I
mid-80s.
I don't know. You know, Mitch
We
McConnell and Nancy Pelosi, they could get together and go on a long cruise and never come back. I'd be okay with that.
they could sail on a 3-hour cruise and
Yes.
nobody would be upset.
Oh my God.
No,
Everybody would be happy.
I think the time is coming in this country within the next 40, 50, 60 years to where uh, the rules are going to change. It's
Right.
going to be once you get 65, 70, you no longer can hold office. You know,
It
we're
would be
not,
nice.
I mean, we have these dementia people, I mean, dementia older people all the time. And I'm not saying that all older people get dementia because they don't. But our government officials, somebody in extreme power, if Mitch McConnell got dementia, I mean, there was that joke for the longest time. There was a joke going around that they were medically keeping Ruth Bader Ginsburg alive
Uh,
so that she wouldn't die during the Trump administration, so that they
right.
could have her pass away during the a Democrat administration, so that they would get to be able, it's so
That's a poor
that's a
joke.
huge conspiracy joke theory, but I mean, it's kind of the same thing. The Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi have arguably our most powerful positions in this country. So if Mitch McConnell, if you saw this man who is the king of Botswana, and he's been the king of Botswana for a million years, and he starts to go freaking mad, and we have the technology to kind of push it away. I mean, it goes back to the Roosevelt thing again, man. We could say that again. They didn't show him in the wheelchair for the longest time. And if one of these politicians that's got a lot of power is starting to show a little, if Joe Biden starts stumbling and mispronouncing words and saying stuff,
Starts.
I wasn't gonna say that, but I'm
Chewing on
glad
a
you know.
shaman of pressure.
Yeah.
Chewing on a shaman of pressure.
Wouldn't you
Without a
get a little
cafeteria.
concerned if your granddad got up in front of you and started talking, and granddad's always been a very eloquent man through his whole life, and all of a sudden he starts misspeaking and he's doing some really weird stuff? Wouldn't you be a little concerned for your granddad? I was
I would.
concerned about our boss here at the radio station when he got in his mid-80s and he started doing some weird stuff. I brought it up. I was like, man, I love this man. He's taught me everything, but I'm concerned about some of his decisions that he's making as an older man because it's not
Yeah.
good for the company.
Yeah.
So it's the same
Anyway,
way with these
so
politicians.
yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm fighting for one side or the other to have the old people. Like, can we have either less old people or just less old people in power, or just less power in government? I'd be cool with either solution. We can have less old crazy people, or just give the government less power altogether, so it doesn't really matter. I'm good
Didn't
with either one.
didn't ancient England used to send their old people out to the islands to go once you got to a certain age, you just sailed away to not to be a burden on the family.
You you love our country, don't you, Grandpa? Oh yes, I do. Well, you know the best thing that you could probably do is just go out to sea and not come back. What? Or hold on.
Yeah, I understand when I get to a certain age, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm a
Sail them
burden.
out. All
Sail
right.
me away.
All right. So, uh, okay. So we got like a lot of little stories. We probably got like 5 or 6 like pop culture ones. We got a couple of political ones. Obviously, yesterday was primary in a couple of states, but I'm not going to get into that. And nobody's going to know what happened in there anyway for who knows how long. But I dropped into this yesterday. I thought I would share this because I know you like this kind of stuff. And Deacon, where's my, I'm in the wrong screen. I got to go over here to push the thing to share the thing. Here we go. And let's do this one. Did you know that you can do like history.com, today in history, and it changes every day? You can
Yeah,
see what
I get
happened in
that for
history.
the yeah, I get that for the radio. I've got that actually bookmarked up here. That and I've got this day in country music bookmarked. You probably don't give a crap about that one, but I use that one on the air.
No, I don't
This-
use that. I don't use that. But I stumbled across this. I was like, I got to put more stuff in here that
I
Deacon
will.
will
I like this.
appreciate.
Yeah, I love this kind of stuff, and I will usually just read this. But I got to this one day and bookmarked the history page because I was playing Jimmy Dean's song PT 109. It's about the ship, the PT 109 that John Kennedy was on that got bombed and whatnot. And I was trying to remember what day that was on. I got to go for a second. Hang on.
Yeah. Okay. So it turns out that on this day, in August 3rd, in 1958, the U.S. nuclear submarine Nautilus accomplished the first undersea voyage to the geographic North Pole. The first nuclear submarine, Nautilus, dived at Point Barrow, Alaska, traveled nearly 1,000 miles under ice. Under the Arctic ice cap to reach the top of the world, and then it steamed on to Iceland, providing a new and shorter route from the Pacific to the Atlantic and Europe. So that's how many years ago? It's a long time ago. That's quite a while ago. I don't
19
know.
what?
It's 1958. So that's like 64 years ago. 74 years ago.
Yeah,
74
60.
years ago, we thought it was a good idea to sail 1,000 miles under ice.
In the North Pole?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Humans are still here. We're still here.
I've recently been watching some really interesting documentaries on stuff that we've found in Antarctica at the South Pole. Some very interesting things here in the last couple of years because of technology that we found in Antarctica.
Okay.
And one of the things that they believe they've found is like a city, the whole city structure. They were looking at this and going, there's no way that nature could have made all of these perfect angular lines and angles. It looks just like
you gotta be careful falling for that "there's no way" thing. Because there's
you gotta
no
see
way
some of these
thing.
pictures, man. It looks that's what I was just
I
gonna
haven't
say.
seen it.
It looks just
I
like
know.
there's this new technology that they've been using that I've been watching some of these documentaries. This guy, I can't remember his name. He's got one leg. He's got an artificial leg, but he's I can't remember his name now. Me and Kendra love his shows, but he was going around to all these places, especially in South America, and he was using this LiDAR radar that uses lasers and stuff and planes and whatnot. And he was mapping out the South American jungle and whatnot. And they found like thousands and thousands of buildings and structures that they had never knew were there. So they found all these structures, and then they go into the wilderness, and they're there. So they're using this LiDAR radar on all of these different things in the earth now. And then you go, it's really interesting. And I think that's what they used down in Antarctica, and they found this. It looks like there was a major city there at one point. It's really interesting. I'm not saying you have to believe it or not, but I don't know.
No. I'm merely saying. Anytime you hear somebody say, "Nature, it's impossible that nature would do this," or anytime you hear someone say, "Well, people wouldn't do that," you just slow down, shift into neutral, turn on your skepticism radar, and just think for a moment. Because weird stuff happens all over the place.
I'm not a believer in coincidences. I completely believe in synchronicity. Okay, I believe in math. I believe in synchronicity.
Yeah.
I think coincidences is a word that we invented just like dark matter. We don't know, so we invent a word and we call it that word. It's like I've argued this for years with people that don't understand. It's like the word SIDS, that disease that the babies get. That word is sudden infant death syndrome. That is a
Yeah.
made up word that means we don't know. It's just like
Yeah.
dark matter. We don't know. That sounds cool. And it's the same thing. So,
All right. So the only thing I can find to back up your story, but I think it's entertaining, so I think I should back you up a little
real
bit.
quick, Ghost Dog helped us
Yeah.
with our math. So,
Yeah. Thank you,
Ghost
Ghost
Dog.
Dog. It's early, man. I haven't even had I've had 1 cup of coffee, but I haven't even had 2 cups of coffee. This is a story from December 13,
Oh, it's not
2016.
Atlantis. No, I don't believe that.
It's not
No,
Atlantis?
absolutely
It's
not.
not Atlantis.
No, it's not Atlantis.
It could be Atlantis.
No, it's not. The Atlantis.
But look at this very convincing picture.
That's convincing. I think I used that for a D&D campaign one time. I know the artist. Atlantis is described by Plato. Okay, Plato described Atlantis, and he mentioned that who was it? He mentions that someone he was talking about visited it 6,000 years prior to when Plato was talking about it.
Right.
So, and they describe where it is, and there's been several expeditions in modern times to try to locate Atlantis, and they all agree that it's somewhere in the equator, central. It's not on the North or South Pole. No one's ever said that except that news story you just brought up.
Right. It's from 2016. All right. Well, I was trying to support you there. Okay, so let's. Yeah. We're gonna hit a lot of news stories, a lot of important news stories today. Important. So hang in there. And if you think the story that you're not hearing at the moment isn't the important one, well, just hang on because the next one probably is. But either way, this is the best episode of Your Two Dads that you've ever seen. We are so glad you're here. We are here. Allow me to remind you that we are here Monday through Friday, 6:30 in the morning. Where's my little thing? I got a thing here. Here, join us weekly, 6:30 in the morning, and make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the alerts because you need us to help you wake up in the morning so that you can hear this important news before you go into the day and start making important decisions in your life. You need to know, is Pelosi going to start another war? Is Biden going to fall down some stairs? You're going to need to know this stuff so that you can, in the case of Ghost Dog, it might impact your real estate business, sir. And it could impact the rest of your lives as well. Anyway, by the way, my constant pandering for subscribers I think it's paying off. We're up in subs. We're up to like 272. Deacon rules, JJ rules. That's acceptable. That's fine. Deacon's got new toys. Hey, hey guys, do you see Deacon is talking into this fancy microphone, this fancy radio microphone?
Look how fancy it is.
He now sounds so much better than me. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
This microphone, you'll see it everywhere. If you look at I look at microphones. Most people don't look at the microphones when they show them. It's the Shure SM7B microphone. It's been the best vocal microphone that radio stations have used for 20 years. It hasn't changed very much in 20 years. And if you look now, because of podcasting and podcasters and all this, if you actually watch them, a lot of them will have these. And if you watch like vocal artists recording, you will see these. More likely you will see this Shure SM7B, and it's not a very expensive microphone. It's like $300, which is, you think it's expensive, but for high quality piece of equipment, that's kind of cheap,
Yes, it is currently $399 on Amazon.
No.
That's after a 20% discount.
No, it's way too high. I can get it way cheaper than that. Yeah, if you're paying more than
I got to tell you, I know the production budget on this show seems to be like astounding. That is slightly higher than we can afford currently with 270 subs and 0 revenue. So
I have 16 cents.
Yeah, maybe I can get one used. And if I get one of these, this is almost certainly an XLR, which is dope. Then I'd have to get a XLR to USB preamp and like right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of my goals. I want to get one of those eventually. And look at his full, cool, articulated arm. He can go his arm in all different directions. I think it's pretty clear which of us is the better
This arm
host of this show.
This arm was not cheap either. These big arms that have
It's
the
all right.
mic cord already strung through
Cool.
it.
People like bragging and stuff, so it's good. People like it, really. All right, I'm just gonna put that. I'm gonna put that in my cart, and maybe my wife will get it for me for my birthday.
That's cool.
Oops, I closed the page. I'll have to come back to that. All right, so California trying to make the world's tallest tree invisible. Now visitors face jail and fines. What? This is from Yahoo News, which, by the way, is NewsGuard certified, 100 of 100. So Deacon and I were talking yesterday, and he was like, "Why are you? Why?" I was talking about Harvard, and then he dropped a story about. He was like, "Here's a story, but it's from Yahoo," and I was like, "That's cool. Yahoo's 100 out of 100," and he was like, "Yahoo's 100 out of 100. Maybe we should reconsider this NewsGuard thing." And I
look
said,
into this NewsGuard thing. How do they judge things if they're giving Yahoo 100 out of 100? Because I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to say anything about you people at Yahoo. I've just read a lot of articles from Yahoo over the past 15 years that have been ridiculously stupid.
This is what I told Deacon. I said, "Deacon, this NewsGuard thing's not to convince you that a story is true. this NewsGuard thing is so that we can say, hey, Yahoo, NewsGuard says this story is true." So it's not for us. You can read and believe whatever news you want. Anyway, NewsGuard's like kind of left leaning, but they're, whatever. They're, it's fair-ish. But, if we cite some story that's NewsGuard certified, and then they're like, "Oh, you can't believe that story," I'm just going to be like, "NewsGuard said it's okay." Okay. Anyway, so it sounds hard to hide the tallest tree in the world, but that's exactly what California's Redwood National Park has been trying to do since 2006. Now, the 380-foot redwood tree is officially off limits. In a statement last week, the park wrote that visitors caught near the tree could face 6 months in jail and a $5,000 fine. For 16 years, the park kept the location of the tree hidden in order to protect it. This sounds like some absurd. This sounds silly.
No, I don't think so.
They're like, "Oh, we're not going to tell you where it is. We're public service."
I don't think that.
Yes, that is a public park. No, you may not know where it is.
I think it is a great idea because even though we want to say humans, there are a lot of humans that want to be good stewards of the earth. We're supposed to be, if you're Christian, you're supposed to be, God left us to be stewards of the earth. And if I've had to explain to some, you may not know what a steward is or what a steward does. And maybe that's just a word. And I've had to explain this to my children before when we were studying the Bible. And a steward was someone that was in charge of the king's castle. When the king had his castle and he owns all of this stuff, he cannot take care of all of the daily things in his castle. So he would appoint a steward, and the steward loved the castle, and it was his castle as much as it was the king's. He took care of everything in the castle as if it was his own. That was what a steward was. And we're supposed to be good stewards of the world. And there are many humans that are good stewards of the world. And when we see a tree like this, we're like, wow, the majestic. We have a white oak right out here behind the radio station. I might get the freaking phone and go out here in a minute and show you. I've got a thing coming up. And me and my history teacher actually lives back here, my old high school history teacher that I loved. And we were talking one day, and we think this tree is like 400 years old. It is a humongous white oak tree that's been sitting here for a while. And he talked about cutting it down one time. And I was like, no, do not cut that thing down. That thing has been here and seen everything. So it's the same way with this tree. That tree has been on earth. That is a living, I mean, I think of plants a little differently than other people think of plants. We don't know everything that there is to know about plants. We don't. We're just not, we haven't discovered it all yet. Plants are a lot more than we think. And so we're destroying this ancient living creature, because somebody wants to take a freaking selfie, or they want to get up there and do something stupid shit, because there's people out here today that are a bunch of freaking waste of spaces is what they are. And every one of them seem to think they're an influencer and want to take pictures of themselves all the damn time. Narcissistic freaking society that we live in. And these people don't care about destroying an ancient living creature so that they can get some freaking likes and some damn followers. So I absolutely agree with this. Do not tell. That's what I was looking up a minute ago. I remember reading this story years ago. There was this ancient tree that was destroyed because of some idiot. In 1964, Donald Rusk Curry killed the oldest tree ever. To this day, there has still never been an older tree discovered. The tree was a Great Basin bristlecone pine, and Curry didn't mean to kill it. It was an accident, and one he didn't really understand the ramifications until later. And it goes through how this whole story about his guy accidentally destroyed this tree because he was just screwing around. The oldest living thing on the planet, and he destroyed it just because he was screwing around. And this article is coming from the Smithsonian Magazine. How do I? Oh, wait a minute! I remember how to share my screen.
Can he do it?
Boom.
We're taking bets in the pool, ladies and gentlemen. You have moments to decide. Can Deacon share his? He did it. He did it.
So, see, I mean, comes from the Smithsonian Magazine. I don't know if it's NewsGuard, whatever. But yeah, there. I mean, a bristlecone, that's a bristlecone pine tree, but that wasn't the oldest one. And I think, if you find that picture of the oldest tree, I think you've seen, you've been like, oh, I've seen a picture of that before. But if you wanted to look it up, I mean, the story is a sad one. There's a lot of science in there too. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't want to, this is kind of an offshoot, but it's kind of the same thing. I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. Hide the tree.
Well,
we think that we have developed enough as a society. No, we have not yet. We haven't. Save it. Save the tree. Don't.
Well, I mean, I think that this sort of, I don't know. I doubt that this sort of thing will really work.
No, I agree.
I agree. Especially when you tell people like, well, you can't know where it is. Then you're just going to trigger like the weirdo, like, couch investigators to like figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. And there's going to be somebody on Google Maps that's already been like,
and then they'll post the GPS coordinates.
You can't see anything, so I bet it's there.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man. We got to get this. We got to hit the news a little faster.
Oh.
Let's see. I'm gonna. Let's see. I thought I posted this because. See, I'm gonna go. Okay, let's do that. Let's do the stuff that we all love. Let's do the stuff that we all love. Sorry, we get back to the entertaining stuff in a minute, but we have to be responsible.
Let me do something real quick and see if this plays.
Sure.
For you.
All right.
I'm hoping this does not play for you. In sports, Adam Wainwright. Did you hear that?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
You said in sports, Adam Wainwright. You heard that?
Yeah. I heard that. Crap.
Okay.
Well, are you sharing desktop audio?
I have to turn on my desktop audio to listen to you. We need to figure out this a little bit later. I was going to preview a song that I'm going to play, and I just realized it's like, oh, this is running through this and running through this, and if I preview this is going to blare us out and may get us copyright stricken. I don't know how that crap goes with YouTube. Some people do it, some people don't, and I know they do.
What's the worst that could happen? Oh wait, I've already got a warning. I guess the worst that could happen is that I get a strike. Oh well. All right. Yeah, we need to sort out these audio things, but I mean, you sound great. That's what's important.
Excellent, thank you. Man, I need to remember to do this tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll get it worked out. So, all right, here we go from justthenews.com, which, by the way, is a legitimate news site. It is 69.5 out of 100, which is very good. Very, very good. Biden to seek new nuclear agreement with China and Russia.
Hang on.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, I've got to at least get this started. Okay, all right, now we can go. Sorry, I got to do this early tomorrow.
Don't we get like 7 seconds before we're in trouble? I think that's the law, right?
You get 7 seconds in other things, but I don't know. I'll look into that today because we're not making any money.
All right. Sorry for clearing my throat. That's a bad habit. I need to get down. I need to get it under control.
I do it all the time too.
So Biden to seek new nuclear agreement with China and Russia, and this is a great time for Biden to announce this garbage. My administration is ready to expeditiously I know he didn't say
No,
expeditiously
he can't say
correctly.
that.
There's no way. Expedition
Him and George Bush don't know
negotiate a new
expeditiously or
control
fiduciary.
arm control framework. It's replaced a new start when it expires in 2019, 2026. 20, bad cat care. True and a non-shaman of pressure. President Joe Biden on Monday called on China and Russia to work on his administration. the balls this dude has. I guess he's like, oh, what? We're at war? Oh, what? We're trying to be at war with you? Well, how about this? Why don't we talk about you not making any more nuclear weapons?
I don't think it's the balls. I think he's just saying no.
All right. President Joe Biden on Monday called on China and Russia to work with his administration on nuclear arms reduction efforts amid growing concerns over the conflict with those governments and the continued development of Iran's nuclear program. Biden made his remarks at the United Nations. Sorry, I read that wrong. Biden made his remarks as the United Nations met to review the Non-Proliferation Treaty, a Cold War era agreement on nuclear arms reduction worldwide. Boy. I sure hope that, you know what, guys, post in the chat. Tell me exactly how much you trust Biden's administration to negotiate the U.S. and China and Russia all producing less nuclear arms in an era where Iran is definitely trying to produce nuclear arms. And I'm pretty sure we're giving them money. I've worked on arms control from the earliest days of my career, from 1842 to the health. And NPT has always rested on meaningful reciprocal arms limits between the United States and the Russian Federation, Biden said in a statement the Epoch Times obtained. Even at the height of the Cold War, the United States and Soviet Union were able to work together to uphold our shared responsibility to ensure strategic stability. I'm not going to read any more of his stuff. So that's happening right now. Great time. Great time for, I mean, the timing is impeccable. So we'll see if China or Russia has anything to say about a new start. But we got till 2026. And if my math is correct, somebody other than the Biden administration will be negotiating that new start deal. All right. As we have been following the immigration and border stories for the last couple of weeks, and as you guys may recall, a couple of weeks ago, I said to Deacon, did you know that Arizona and Texas are shipping or busing their immigrants to Washington, D.C. and to and then to New York City and I guess elsewhere. And I think Deacon didn't know that. And then I said that the mayor of New York City, the mayor of Washington D.C. Had called on the National Guard troops because it was a humanitarian crisis, and I believe the mayor of New York City said it was a humanitarian crisis. Well. Earlier this week, Texas Governor Abbott invites New York and D.C. mayors to the southern border to see the migrant problem firsthand. D.C. Mayor Bowser, Mayor Bowser. She's the bad guy from Mario Brothers. Mayor Bowser. Got it. D.C. Mayor Bowser asked the National Guard last month to intervene after Texas and Arizona bust an estimated 4,000 illegal immigrants to her city. The Texas GOP Governor Greg Abbott has invited the Democrat mayors of New York and Washington, D.C. to the southern border to see the challenges his state faces as resulting of record migration from Mexico. I invite you to visit our border region to see firsthand. None of these people in Washington or New York or anywhere else want to come to Texas, to the border, to see what's up. Kamala Harris has been the immigration czar or something for like a year and a half, and she hasn't been down there at all. Anyway, so Abbott has been busing migrants to Adam and Bowser's respective cities to provide some relief to his state and likely to make a political point about how immigration is a national problem. Abbott's invitation follows the mayors blaming him for the problems in their cities as a result of him sending people who have entered the U.S. illegally to the District of Columbia and the Biden administration sending them to New York City. Bowser asked the city's National Guard last month to intervene after the Texas and National bussed an estimated 4,000 illegal immigrants to her city. Unfortunately, President Biden and his border czar, Vice President Harris, have refused to see the crisis for themselves, remaining willfully ignorant of the crisis that they have created, Abbott also said. Texas spent millions of taxpayer dollars to bus migrants up north away from the crowded southern border, according to the Center Square News Agency. Center Square News Agency. They take themselves as seriously as we do. Deacon is confused and has got his voice. You got to put yourself in the box here.
Oh,
my
bad. I keep forgetting. I couldn't play
Boomer.
this. I had to switch real quick for this song. As soon as this song's over, I'll go back to my other big microphone, but I had to switch because when I turned it up, you were talking over my radio.
Oh, no. Oops. Yeah, we got to get that sorted out.
So is everybody mad because taxpayer money was used? Is that what the argument is?
So no, that's just this one line right here. So according to the Center Square, like it's Texas taxpayer dollars. The hell with you, and we can do what we want with it.
I that's what I was going to say. If I was a Texan and these were my taxpayer dollars that were being used to do this, I would be all for it. Nothing against the immigrants again, but I mean, illegal. You're here illegally. These people, like you said, it's not in their state. It's not happening to them, and I believe they're doing this because they hate Texas. They hate you. Right-wing pricks. And if they can get a bunch of illegals in here and do the catch and release program to where we'll give you a right to vote and you're not supposed to be here. But yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my damn life. And it's only because they're wanting to get these people to vote, but to get you pricks gone is what it is.
Right. I mean, very much there's a component of it that is allocation of votes. And therefore it's about who has and will have power. As I've reiterated several times on this show, I'm all for immigration. We, in fact, need it because the United States population decline is in the toilet, probably because
from somewhere else.
Probably because our diet and nutrition has been corrupt for like 50-something years. Turns out 95% of the people on the National Dietary Committee are have conflicts of interest. Yeah, so U.S. population is in decline. The only way they're going to replace our population, and by the way, we need to replace our population if you want to ever retire. The only way we're going to replace our population is either have more kids or have more immigrants. And I'm actually okay with both. And but we do need to make sure that the people who migrate to our country are not criminals, are the best people that we can bring into our country. And that means just like you don't let everybody in your neighborhood sleep at your house, it means you don't let everybody in the world into your country before you figure out who should be American citizens. And having a border policy that allows everybody in and nobody documented, that creates a serf class or a slave class in your country by not documenting people residents of the country and not, having them go through a citizenship status. Then those people are subject to additional violence. They're unable to seek legal remedies in many situations. They're unable to pay taxes. They're unable to get health care correctly. They are unable, and therefore those people are. Wow, I have your face on my name. That's not going to work. Those people are. It's worse for them. It's worse for us. So we absolutely should have a wall with a door, and we should be in control of the door. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And if you care about people, people in your country and people elsewhere, then you probably wouldn't want to have slaves, because that's what happens when you have people that are not allowed to be documented, or people that are taken advantage of in massive numbers. So anyway,
think about it for a second, man. Think about it. However long you believe humans have been on this earth, 6,000 years to 100,000 years, how long humans have fought other humans over land. Think just over
forever.
land. That's
Yeah.
all of the different things. I've thought about this before. Why have certain wars started, and why? And that is
It's
major.
always about resources. It's always about resources and power.
That's I mean, yeah, we're always going to be, in 5,000 years, if humans are still here, they're going to be fighting over land.
Okay, so anyway, that we'll continue to follow this immigration story. You know, you're allowed to have a nuanced position. It's not as, it doesn't have to be as simple as like immigrants bad, or I hate everybody, or whatever. No, you're allowed to have a nuanced position, and you're allowed to talk about it. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. What probably is the worst thing is for the national government to refuse to acknowledge there's a problem when there's millions upon millions of people being smuggled by cartels and coyotes. And, you know, in the 2016 election, I think it was 2016, maybe it might have been, I don't remember if it was 2016 or 2020. And the subject of human smuggling came up. I think Trump mentioned on stage the coyotes, and then people on Twitter were like, haha, this guy thinks that there's coyotes. This guy thinks that like, Roadrunner is real. Is it Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote? Like, this guy thinks there's Wile E. Coyotes in it. And it's like, no, literally, you idiots don't understand that there's human smuggling that's happening in massive numbers, because you don't go to the border. Go to the border. Just go to the border. Check it out. What's it going to hurt? Mayor Bowser. Mario will be fine. He's not going to break anything while you're gone. Come on down. All right, we gotta pick up the pace here. So this might be a disappointing news story, one of two that came out yesterday, but I'm only going to cover this one. The pardon my clearing my throat. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court upholds the state's no excuses mail-in ballot law in a blow to the GOP. So in 2020, in the 2020 election, the Pennsylvania legislature changed the law. I think it was in 2019-18, actually. Changed the law to allow no excuse mail-in voting, seemingly in violation of the state constitution. And then it was taken advantage of course, because the pandemic happened, and, you know, urban areas are able to concentrate their, you know, harvesting of votes a lot more densely. So the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled Tuesday the 2019 law expanding the state's mail-in voting was constitutional, overriding Republicans who argued no excuse absentee voting should be outlawed. The Democrat-led court ruled 5-2 to uphold law known as Act 77, with the court's 2 Republicans voting against, but ensuring widespread voting. Mail-in voting will be available in Pennsylvania for the midterm elections that will decide the control of the Congress. Pennsylvania features a contest for an open Senate seat. Oh my goodness, that's going to be important.
Pennsylvania was one of the states that the crazy Looney Tune conspiracy theorists said that there was some election fraud, wasn't there?
Get off the bed. Get
well,
off the bed.
It's not really that there's election fraud or not election fraud. It's obvious that if there is the possibility for things to be cheated, they will be cheated. The real difference is whether or not the amount of cheating changed the changed an election. And there's currently no evidence whatsoever approved by any court or whatever.
Approved by any court. Yes. Jesus Christ. Let me say again, 4 out of 5 damn doctors think Marlboro is better for your health. Okay, so that doesn't mean anything to me. The proof is in the pudding. I just encourage anyone with an open mind to watch the documentary 2000 Years.
Yeah.
That's the only
So,
thing that I ask you to do.
so
If you got an open,
you've mentioned this a couple times, and you can watch 2000 Mules on Daily Wire. I think it's like $20 or something. I haven't seen it, but I got the gist of it. I know who Dinesh D'Souza is. I kind of understand what the argument is. The argument is essentially that they had amassed a good deal of phone tracking data, and then they correlated the movements of certain people past drop boxes more frequently than would be normal.
that you've just got to watch.
Meaning that
people
the implication is that there are certain people that are stuffing ballot boxes, and that is evidence that could be true.
There are several video evidence of this.
Well,
and not only video evidence can be faked. I mean, deep fakes are really cool. So I'm not saying one or the other. I'm just saying watch the video.
Just in principle,
yeah.
Do you think it's a good idea to have a basically unmonitored box to collect ballots? Does that seem like a good idea?
A good idea for what? If it's a good idea to try to do something nefarious, yes. If it's a good idea to keep something on the up and up, no. No, because if I am a resident of a city and I know there are 4 boxes and 3 of them have a camera on them and I'm wanting to do something nefarious to the box, which damn one do you think I'm going to?
Look, if people can cheat, there's going to be people that cheat, right?
And let me tell you something that people don't realize. You know this, but you don't think about this on a daily basis. Do you see this thing right here that you carry around with you? It tells you where you are at all times, even if you have it turned off. That it's very easy to find you. This thing is listening to us right now, JJ. I have been having a damn toothache for like 2 weeks ago. I had a terrible toothache back here, and it was absolutely killing me for like 3 days. And I asked Ashley to get me some Oragel. I think I texted it to her, or we were talking about it. Whatever I was doing, I asked her to get me some Oragel because my tooth was hurting me, and she did. And I used it. You might have seen me use it in here the other day because it was bothering me when I drink hot and cold. And I'll be damned if I'm not getting YouTube advertisements for hurt teeth and bad teeth now everywhere. I'm getting ads on my news websites, like right here, Just the News. The ad that'll pop up at the bottom is for teeth, whatever, that I've never seen before. And I understand that stuff does that, but this thing listens to you.
Right. I'm gonna help you out, Deacon.
So watch
Google
the video.
How much is denture cream?
Ashley and I did that. We've done that.
Oh no, it got mine.
We've done that experiment before, strictly because we were coming back from a vacation in the mountains, and I had saved all of these toothpicks. I smoked back then, and I had saved all of these toothpicks from our sandwiches and stuff like that. The big crazy toothpicks that they put in your food when you eat out. And I had saved all those through the whole trip because I was going to chew on them on the way home so I wouldn't smoke in the car. Right. And so we were talking about the toothpicks on the way home, and I'll be damned if Ashley didn't get a freaking advertisement for some cinnamon toothpicks or something like that to pop up. So we Ashley and I have done experiments before and just talked about stuff that we would never talk about to see if advertisements pop up a little bit later.
Yeah. Well, okay. So on your point of the 2000 Mules, it certainly is something that you should check out. But my understanding is that it's not enough.
Okay.
It's not enough.
No, that's right.
And you know what? But you know what?
But you haven't seen it yet.
We don't even need that. If you have to show show up in person and show your ID and registration or whatever to vote in person, why are we allowed to just stick who knows who collected ballots into a box? But it's Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania can do whatever they want. I think it's a bad idea. But you guys do whatever you want.
Crazy Looney Tune out of their freaking brain need to be locked up conspiracy theorists say that it was all designed.
What do I say? I say all the time, trust no one.
It was
assume all designed. Everyone is lying to you.
And some of those and crazy asses say that COVID it was designed because how do we get people?
Hey, the YouTube stop! You don't listen to this guy. This is his opinion. I didn't say this.
I'm not saying this is my opinion. I'm saying this is what the crazy Looney Tune ass crazy conspiracy theorists that need to be locked up are saying. I'm not saying it's mine. I'm saying it's those crazy asses. I should be able to be able to say it, give an opinion without freaking YouTube saying, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Regarding voting, my only thing is, just like everything else, trust no one. And if somebody can cheat, people are going to cheat.
They're going to cheat. They did cheat.
So why would you make it easy to cheat? Yeah. Okay.
The U.S. election is a freaking joke, and it has been for like 100 years. And if people don't understand how it works, you're not smart enough to understand how it works because you haven't educated yourself enough in the U.S. election process. So go read a fucking book and then learn how it works and quit bitching on YouTube or Facebook all the time like you know everything. I'm so sick of people.
Here we go. Moving on. Alan Dershowitz, famed law professor, believes that Liz Cheney will become a Democrat and run against Trump. Do you know who Liz Cheney is?
She's an idiot.
She is the Wyoming representative and daughter of...
she was the daughter of the guy that was a businessman for a long time, and then all of a sudden he was appointed to vice president. And then he was elected. He was elected to vice president.
Dick Cheney. She is Dick Cheney's daughter.
Then didn't his company that he was the head of for years and years,
Enron,
one of his company, didn't they get all of the contracts to rebuild everything that America blew
up? It wasn't Enron. That sounds like
it wasn't Enron. It was
it's not Blackwater either. I think it starts with an H.
I was trying to be an asshole.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Liz Cheney is one of the I think 2, maybe 1 Republicans that are fairly representing the Republicans on the January 6th committee that is otherwise populated entirely by Democrats. And Alan Dershowitz believes that Liz Cheney will become a Democrat. So it's actually 100% Democrats on the January 6th committee.
Like I said, she's an idiot.
She is the worst. Liz Cheney is absolutely the worst. Let
me preface all this.
But Alan Dershowitz, also a Democrat, but he's a famous law professor, and he's usually correct about constitutional related stuff. He said, "I think as a Democrat, I think she will join the Democratic Party and maybe even run for office as a Democrat." He told the Just the News Not Noise TV show on Monday, after discussing the controversy surrounding the National Guard not being called on January 6th. Her father was a very, very different person, and children should not be held responsible for their parents or parents with their job.
Oh, that's bull crap. That's bull crap. I'm being punished for the sins of my fathers every day, JJ. I'm being punished for the sins of my fathers every day. I'm being held responsible for the sins of my fathers every day. So why am I not immune to that, and she is?
Well, I don't know. Look, she's not immune. She's losing the election. The reason she's going to run as a Democrat is because all the Republicans are going to throw in the trash.
Pay for the sins of your fathers, but I do. We do.
Yeah. Well. All right. Let's get out of politics. Let's listen to some fun stuff. We got some. Let's see.
Sorry. Let me say something I wanted to say a second ago. Is when I call someone a name like Liz Cheney, when I call someone a name like an idiot or something like that, I need to preface that by people always need to remember that I am a moron. I am dumb. I'm an idiot myself. So don't take anything that I say with a grain of salt. Okay. I'm mouthing off and just.
I mean, you can. You may be claiming to be a moron, but you're probably one of the most trusted dads on morning news right now. So you have you bear a heavy mantle of. You bear a heavy mantle of responsibility, sir, and you need to take it. You need to take that responsibility seriously. All right, so we're gonna. Let's get into this one. I think you're gonna have. You guys think you heard him go off already? Hold on, just hang on, because Joe Rogan says Jeffrey Epstein may have been CIA or Mossad spy. Deacon, what do you think about this?
Hang on a second. Let me talk real quick. Hang on just a second.
He's got his cans on. Okay. So Joe Rogan thinks that convicted pedo. I don't really want to say some of these words. Eventually, my kids are going to hear. Joe Rogan thinks that convicted predator, Jeffrey Epstein, may have been an agent of either the CIA or Israel's Mossad, who was part of a plot to collect sensitive information about the rich and powerful. Rogan broached the topic of Epstein with his connection to Harvard University on last Friday's episode of his popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, which is available on Spotify streaming service.
Okay. Whether you think Joe Rogan is an idiot or what, he knows when to, as a as an interviewer, he knows sometimes it depends on how high he is. He knows when to shut up and knows when to ask really good questions, whether he's a crazy person or not. This was actually, if you read through this, I want to go and actually listen to the whole conversation because I know who Whitney Cummings is, and I've seen her comedy before, but I can't remember. I think I was just like, oh, I don't like her stuff, or oh, she wasn't for me. You know, she's one of those people that I was just like, yeah. But I really want to go and listen to this because it proposed a really interesting argument. You know, a really interesting observation and argument that it kind of, you know, I'm one of these people that if something sounds logical, I'm not going to say that it can't happen because logically it could happen, you know? So, I mean, it was a very interesting take on the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know about a whole lot about it. Of course, the official story is that Epstein committed suicide and in jail, and the unofficial story that almost everybody else believes is that he got suicided. So, I don't know what happened. I don't know that we will ever know. I do like Joe. Joe is not necessarily a facts man. He's an interesting conversation man.
He's an interesting conversation man.
Yeah, I don't know how much you should take this statement as oh, it was this, not that. I don't know that you should reframe exactly what you think happened, but this guy was 100% a bad guy, and either he deleted himself or was deleted by somebody. We don't know.
Okay, so did you get into the? Let me tell you what the argument was. The argument was that Jeffrey Epstein was worked for the CIA or the Mossad. And what he did was he got powerful people into compromising positions,
right?
Evidence, so that they could make these powerful
be manipulated, extortion,
manipulate.
Yeah.
So that's what they said he did. And now, if you look at that like this is look at it like we're trying to write a movie, okay? So we've got this guy that works for the CIA, and he manipulates all these rich and powerful people across the country that have a lot of power, and we manipulate so that we control them. First of all, who's the we? You know, which one of them is it? And then second of all, once he got busted and once things started to come out, yeah, man, have him killed and have it look like all this mess. And then all of a sudden, everybody is blaming some crazy politician woman that ran for president that half the country hated. Oh, yeah, let them blame her, man. That takes everything off of us.
Ghislaine Maxwell, I think you're talking about.
I'm writing a movie here. We're writing a movie.
Oh, okay.
Remember, we're writing. This is not real. We're writing a hypothetical movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good plot so far, don't it?
I mean, you know,
and then
there is nothing that is alleged here that I'm not willing to believe.
What if the girl that he worked with, who still had info on all these people, and she got busted too, but we kind of do a little trial just for show, and then we get her out of here. You know, we say we're going to
let the evidence be made public.
Throw away the key, but we don't really throw away the key because she's got a lot of evidence on a lot of people.
Guys, the only thing that we can do is just hope that somebody gets in there and just removes all of the entrenched establishment and all of these people like this. But, you know, you think this is the only guy that was like this? There's a bunch of guys like this.
If you want to know my personal opinion,
can't get rid of them.
You want to know my personal opinion? And I don't care. I'm going to say this. If you are a pedophile or something like that, there is something wrong with you and you need to be exterminated. And any of these people that did that need to be exterminated. I'm sorry. They need to be exterminated. Your DNA does not need to go on.
I think, especially among our audience, I think the sentiment is largely in agreement.
I hope.
I think it would probably be useful, entirely in agreement that we need less of these people around. All right, so that's what Joe had to say about
Zero.
I don't think the name Epstein is going to not be talked about for quite a while because we have unresolved questions. People have unresolved questions. All right, so that stuff's filthy. I dislike discussing
I
that.
do too. I
All
don't like
right,
discussing it
so
because it enrages me.
let's get something a little bit more better. So as you may know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Warner Brothers, which DC movies, was recently purchased by Discovery, and there's a fellow there named Zaslav, who is, we'll say, cleaning
Supervillain?
house of
Sounds like
failing
a
projects.
supervillain name.
He may sound like a supervillain, but he might be a superhero. So, an irredeemable Batgirl movie has been shelved by Warner Brothers despite the $70 million price tag that's already been invested. $70 million for a Batgirl movie that was obviously looking like trash, and instead of committing the rest of the money for marketing, finishing it, the new owner said, "This is garbage. You're all fired. We're not doing this." The DC so millions down the drain. The DC Comics film Batgirl will be completely shelved by Warner Brothers. It's not even going to HBO Max. The $70 million movie, source said that the budget was actually more than $100 million, which was doing test screenings for audiences in anticipation of a late 2022 debut. That is, this film is basically in the can, and they were just doing minor edits. Hey, all right. Hey, thanks for showing up, Ghost Dog. We do appreciate you. Good morning, sir. It was going to rank among the most expensive cinematic cast-offs ever. Those casts were said to be so poorly received by moviegoers that the studio decided to cut its losses and run for the sake of the brand's future. It is a DC disaster. They think an unspeakable Batgirl is going to be irredeemable. The Post had reached out to Warner Brothers for comment. It's been months-long walk of shame for the movie Batgirl, directed by Adril El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, who directed Bad Boys for Life. Yeah, okay. Received not a single mention of DC's Comic-Con panel in San Diego. In fact, that's true. We talked about San Diego stuff last week. We had, Black Adam and Flash News and stuff like that, but not a peep about Batgirl. And an unusual move that raised industry eyebrows. Much publicized event, after all, is designed to boost the exposure for forthcoming projects just like this one. Marvel Comic-Con presentation, on the flip side, announced that more than a dozen films in the so-called Phase 5 and 6 of the MCU will be released through fall 2025, and even more in the hopper. Batgirl, which stars Leslie Grace in the title role alongside J.K. Simmons, Michael Keaton, and Brendan Fraser, was originally planned for an HBO Max release. Yeah, he was going to be in. He was going to reprise his role as Commissioner Gordon.
That's right. Yeah, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Who was Brendan Fraser going to play?
Not sure. Brendan Fraser is Robot Man on Doom Patrol. So, or Robot on Doom Patrol. He plays the voice of it. And anyway, so look at this costume. This is the most frumpy dumpy cosplay looking costume. And this was their Batgirl. This was never going to go anywhere. But this guy right here, Zaslav, this guy right here might be changing the future. He might be saying, hey, your super woke, agenda-driven stuff that doesn't make us any money is not going to get approved anymore. So it looks like that's what's going on there. So that's good stuff. Looks like Deacon's talking on the other.
No, I'm having to answer.
Oh, right. All right, so that's good stuff. I don't know if you got a chance to read this story or not, Deacon, but
a little bit. Yeah, I know which one you're going to.
So Rob Liefeld has leveled criticism against the next generation of Millennial and Generation Z comic book creators, saying they're terrible with directions, they love to argue, and they have zero accountability. Does that sound at all credible to you? Yes, it does.
Sorry. Let me get that done.
Yeah. So he posted on, I think it's on Facebook. So this story is worth your read, folks. If you like Rob Liefeld, or you know who he is, he talks about breaking 40 or 50 creators into the industry over the years. I mean, I can think of I could think of some, especially in his early days where he was doing Extreme Studios and stuff like that. The most recent people that he worked with was in 2015, 2016, and he said they were good. And then the ones that he's tried to work with in the last couple of years, he's just let go. He's just like they don't take direction, they don't take correction, they're not willing to collaborate, and they're just like fight and stick with their ideas, and they don't and they basically unwilling to adjust to be professionals.
Well, I mean,
kids these days, you know what I mean?
That's a lot. I mean, what did Kirby and all those guys say about LaFeld and McFarlane and Silvestri and Lee and all them when they split and went to Image? You know, they said the same crap about them in the 90s. I mean, I hate to say it, but they was like, you dumb kids don't know what you're doing and you don't know what to, you know, they said the same crap. So now that LaFeld is older and our age, he's like, you kids, I walked uphill both ways in the snow. It's the same thing. It's what I do on the server.
I don't know if it's exactly really the same thing, but
I think
no, because
I've had this argument about music before because I've had these old people that'll say, this music today is so different and blah, 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 and I don't like it. Right. And I'll say, you know, I agree with you, but in 1975, they said the same thing about Waylon Jennings, and now we call that classic. You know, 40, 50 years later, we call that classic.
I'm not sure. Are you defending the millennials and Gen Z
I'm not
artists
defending
and
the
creators?
millennials and Gen Z. I'm defending synchronicity.
So here's a quote. Here's a quote.
Always happens. It's just always seems
the wheel
new
turns,
because the generation.
Rhymes.
It always
so the last group of new talent I worked with, many starting from 2015, were go-getters, diligent workers with respect. The creator reminisced. The new folks I've started working with since 2021 are a new breed.
I think Rob's just got a.
Oh look! Hey, listen! Look here.
He's worked with.
Comics Beat editor-in-chief Heidi McDonald offered this caveat, quote, they said the same thing about us when we were kids. So there's your
she said the same thing that I said.
Yeah. And to which Rob responded, it's not the same. I've broken 50 to 60 names into the business, 3 decades of young talent. This is a byproduct of the new tech and social media.
I love Rob, but I think he's jumping the gun here. I love Rob, man. I love him. I don't know. I think he's jumping the gun. I mean, because I've done that. I've just been like, you dumb kids, I know what I'm talking about. And my 17-year-old has proved me wrong a couple of times.
Could be.
And humbled me.
All right. So. We are. I think this is the last thing. I'm sure you saw this, but I wanted to drop it in because I know you like this kind of stuff. We got another picture from the from NASA. This is the stellar gymnastics cartwheel.
You didn't like that. I was defending that.
Mostly, I'm just trying to get out of here because my kids are up.
Well, let's save the story for tomorrow because I need to go too.
Because look at it. Look at this picture though. Look at this. Oh, this is like. I don't know how many, whatever light years away, but I mean, that is a pretty cool looking like cartwheel galaxy. So this is a new image from your NASA Webb super telescope.
500 million light years away. So the light that Webb telescope captured left that galaxy 500 million years ago.
Yeah. Over here. The little tiny stars and stuff. Pretty neat. Kind of astounding when you look through out here and you can see all these little blips and blops and little bits. And each one of those is probably another galaxy, you know, another nebula, massive. The universe is so big.
They believe
we are so small.
They believe there's over 100,000 stars similar to our sun or like our sun in our galaxy alone. And there are quintillions of galaxies. So you do the math there.
But you know what? There's only one of
the only free. Us.
There's only one amazing show called Your Two Dads, which airs Monday through Friday at 6:30 in the morning. So you better. Oh, that's the wrong card. See, I almost had it right. I don't even know where'd it go. Where'd my card go for Your Two Dads? Did you change something? Oh, there it is, right there. Yeah, Monday through Friday, 6:30 in the morning. Subscribe, hit the notifications bell. We put up a new show post every day, and then it's there so you can hit notify. Make sure you get woken up in the morning. Come listen to Deacon and I talk about the day's news. And if you want to find some news of your own and send it to us, let me
Go ahead.
come on, man. Let me remind you that in the description below, there's a link to the Twitter Your Two Dads community. The cool thing about a Twitter You Two Dads community is that you're not tweeting to the whole universe. You're tweeting just to our little group. So Ghost Dad, I invite you to join. He's already gone, but in spirit, I invite you to join. And the rest of you that are dabble on Twitter, well, come dabble on Twitter, and you can see our pretty purple banner and a whole little spot of Twitter just for us. You can send us news stories, and we'll try to incorporate them into the show. And aside from that, we thank you for watching. We are so glad that you've been here, and please share the show with your friends and neighbors. You can take the tack like, can you believe two dumb dad guys would get on the internet and proclaim how dad they are and talk about the news? This is ridiculous. You should listen to them.
I get to complain like a dad. Yeah. You want to hear some old guy complain? Say that. Yeah. You want to hear some old guy complain?
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's going to be the best thing. So please show up tomorrow for the best show ever, which is currently planned to be better even than today's show. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Come here, showstopper. Come here, showstopper. She was almost here. She came all the way to the desk and ran away. I was going to show. I figured now that we can do full screen stuff. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh. Here you go, Jill. You want to say hi? Oh, you can't see Deacon. Hold on. He's right over there. See right there?
Uh-huh.
What do you want to say?
Hi, Deacon.
Hi. Good morning.
Okay.
Hi, here.
Here you go.
Hello.
He's on the left side there. Hold on. Let me tilt the camera down.
I'm going to go to Deacon.
No, don't go behind me. Come here.
Mommy,
here,
Daddy.
Here you go. Say hi.
Daddy, may I talk?
He's on the left
Hi,
side.
Deacon.
He's right there. He's right there. He's talking to you.
Hi.
Yeah. All right. All right, folks. Thanks for watching.
Daddy, may I have a turn?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. He's listening to you right now. Okay, thanks everybody for watching the show. It's the best show ever. Tomorrow's show is going to be even better than today. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye, Deacon.
Bye. Have a good day.